seems like everybody skips over the Pittsburgh area. It's like you still get like some decent like artists who come here, but it seems like bands like Yellow Card. Because I saw something on Instagram the other day talk about like a new tour they're doing,
Uh-huh.
and they had Philly on it. So I was actually a little bummed they weren't coming to Pittsburgh. So
Okay. Yeah.
it's
Never
like,
Pittsburgh. We played like Massachusetts one time, like Worcester, Mass. I remember going up there to play a gig, which was kind of far for one gig, but and then a few spots in Pennsylvania, but I don't remember going to Pittsburgh. I wish I had.
you're always welcome here. That's what I would say if you ever want to come up here. But
Yeah, man.
I think it's still stuck in the cover groups right now, so I don't know about that. But we'll have to see. Time will tell.
Okay.
Let's see. Where were we at? Uh, I guess walk us through what you do with a drum cover.
It recently?
Yeah, in terms of like how many drum covers have you made?
Oh gosh, I think like 120 or 30 or something. I recently started doing shorts, which I don't know if other drummers on YouTube feel this way, but it's kind of like a love-hate thing for me because like, you put a lot of energy and time into like doing a drum cover. And, my channel's not super popular in my opinion. It's not like some of these other guys that have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, right? But like you put all this time in to do like a full drum cover, and maybe like in a week I'll get like maybe 100 views if I'm lucky, 150, and then I'll do a short and I'll get like 1,000 views in 2 hours, which is just a clip of one of those covers. So as far as like how I do it, I mean, I try to do one once a week, and then, again, it's usually on the weekends. My wife will take our daughter to like the grocery store or something, and they'll go have like a play dates and give me like maybe 2 hours to knock one out. I basically just get an idea for a song like during the week. I use Spotify and just listen to various artists that I like. Boom, I get an idea. I'm going to try to do that one. And I listen to it obsessively during the week. Do you want me to talk about gear and all that stuff too? Or
Yeah, sure. Let's. What sort of gear do you use?
So when I do the cover, I mean, really simple, straightforward. I have basically, and this might surprise you, but I have an SM57 between my kick and snare. It's kind of like halfway between my Pearl semi snare drum and the kick. And then I have a mic on my camera that I kind of bleed some of the room sound in. But my whole setup is very organic, very just kind of natural. Like it's not like I don't have the money to get more gear. And I think one of my goals this year is to actually like go ahead and like get some mics for the toms and get like an actual kick drum mic and enhance the sound. Maybe do another camera because I only have one camera, one mic. And basically I use I use Audacity to record cover, and I have the MP4 in there. And then I use OpenShot to edit my video. Very, very just basic free stuff here. I have a Scarlett interface, just for the mic. And basically what I do is I'm playing over the MP4, and then once I get my drums down and I'm doing my editing, I turn the gain down on the MP4, turn the gain up on my drums. I'll do like a little bit of bass and treble, and I'll kind of just mix in some of that room sound, and that's really how I do it. And I've had some drummers critique me a little bit, being like, dude, like, why don't you have like drum mics? Like, why? And I admit that my toms get lost. If I'm doing a cover that has a lot of toms, they get lost a little bit. Stuff that's more kick and snare comes in really well. If I'm doing lots of fills and stuff, you don't hear them as much. And I'll try to get some of the camera mic in on those covers. But I've had some drummers like kind of like negatively be like, you're a pretty good drummer. Why don't you have more gear? Why don't you have like? And I've had other people reach out to me that are like, I love that your covers are organic. That like it's one camera, it's you playing the drums, and like we feel like we're in the room because it's just a very organic sound. It's not super mixed at all. So very, very simple, straightforward method for doing covers. Probably the most basic that there is.
I would say, yeah, keeping it basic is really the best thing you can do, because otherwise you're probably going too crazy with like maybe various camera angles, having so many mics, they're like hovering over your toms or stuff like that. Because I've seen a couple of drummers with that too, so I can see what you mean, but at the same time, it's just keeping it simple. It's just really, really all you have to do, and I don't know why people want to get picky about that. But I know people in our drum community, at least, they're always going to give you some good support here and there. But I guess just trying to make sure I'm trying to take it all in too.
No worries, man.
But no, the offshoot, and did you say it was OpenShoot or offshoot that you use for the editing?
I think it's called OpenShot.
Okay.
OpenShot is the name of the video editing software. Literally, it's a free download. I know there's so many better programs out there. The way that I do it is extremely like elementary. And I think that's kind of been like my thing. Because again, I've had some drummers even recently be like, are you really doing, like, was that just one mic? You know, because that sounded pretty good. And so I've kind of figured out a way to really kind of enhance it a little bit. But yeah, I'd like to get some more gears, you know, another camera or two. I don't know if I'll put the camera like on my kick drum, but you know, maybe another angle just to have that out there. Because I mean, this was always supposed to be fun. Like I started this drum channel during COVID because I wasn't playing and I wanted something to do, and this was kind of like a way for me to do it. And I've kind of kept it going, but it was always just kind of like a fun thing for me. It was never meant to be anything really more than that. And so I was actually kind of like surprised when people started like liking my channel and subscribing. And so that's kind of that kind of gives me the motivation to keep doing it and eventually make it better than what it is.
I see. Did you mention what brand your cameras were? Were they like a GoPros or a DSLR?
It's not a GoPro, and to be honest, I don't even remember the name of it. It's like a GoPro knockoff that I have. It's like not an expensive camera, $150 I think on Amazon or something. I don't recall what it was. I think it's kind of like a Japanese brand or something like that. So pretty like I said, just not the most advanced gear that I use.
Well, that's good that you didn't say Chinese ripoff or Chinese knockoff or something like that. So that's a good
thing. Japanese, Chinese, I'm not sure, man. It's one of those brands, and it's not a great camera at all, but it does the trick. I've got it kind of on. It's attached to one of my old cymbal stands, you know, and it's kind of up high, so I kind of have a little more of like a room aerial view. And I've had some drummers say they like that because some drummers are learning a song that I covered, and they say they like my videos because you can just watch that one camera and pick it up. So
I see. And you did mention about YouTube channel a little bit too, but I guess you say you started right when the pandemic was starting, or did you do it like a year into like 2021?
Yeah, man, I started it kind of late 2020 is when I started the channel, and like I just you know, I wasn't performing as much, and you know, we were all working from home quite a bit. Real estate was deemed an essential business, and so we really didn't shut down, but I was definitely working from home more, and so this was just a way to kind of like play, and you know, kind of like, you know, the last, you know, I would say I've been good at it ever since COVID. But prior to that, it was just something random that I did when I had time. I didn't really like carve out time to it. And that's one thing I like about the YouTube channel is that because I'm intentional, because I have this, I can be intentional about playing drums, and it's easier to make it part of my, you know, my routine, my, you know, part of my life essentially. And so, yeah, I started it during COVID is when I did that. And, you know, it's fun. You know, you want to keep doing it because you enjoy it. And the community aspect of it, meeting all the different drummers out there is a lot of fun too. You're collaborating with all these different musicians, and sometimes not even drummers. Like I follow some people that are bass players and singers and piano players and stuff, and so and then vice versa, you know. So I've got a couple guitar players that follow my channel, and you know, so I enjoy the collaboration.
Absolutely too, and yeah, I was kind of the same way. I started a little later, about 2020, and did you just start doing drum covers, and that's really what you've just been doing, or have you tried to like expand it to like any sort of other projects like vlogs or anything like that?
Just covers, man. You know, I don't play any other instruments or anything. I'm not really a vlogger, you know. Really just an outlet, a way to decompress and to, you know, to play. And so I just, you know, because I've always been a drummer who learned from ear and a drummer who played in cover bands and did some original stuff, you know, as well. Back in the DC area, it's always just been covers because you know, you look up to those guys, you're influenced by these guys, and you're like, okay, I'm actually going to play this song now. I'm actually going to learn it, and I'm going to play it. And once you actually accomplish it, it's just, you know, it feels good.
Sense of accomplishment, yeah. That sort of
thing. Exactly.
Yeah, I can understand, and I've been branching out. That's the whole thing with this podcast right here, and I've also did a Q&A and stuff like that. You learn, it gets pretty hard, especially when you got a full-time job. I don't know if you actually worked a second job or anything like that, but for me specifically, just doing those two jobs on top of this, it does get a little bit hard. So
you work two jobs and do this?
Yeah, so it's basically like three jobs in one. So
holy cow.
So you can imagine it's a lot to take in, but fortunately we got President's Day this weekend, so it's at least giving me some time to at least catch up on some podcast episodes. So at least
Nice.
Mondays are at least pretty good right now. So, but I guess since we talked about COVID a little bit, I guess how bad did it impact you and your family?
In the beginning, I think it impacted everybody. I mean, like I said, my industry was deemed an essential business, and so we shut down for a couple of weeks. We had our offices closed for a couple of weeks, and then at that point, we were kind of back. But a lot of people just work from home. I would say, it impacted us quite a bit. Where with school and all that kind of stuff, and just having to change work schedules around to deal with childcare was a challenge, but. It was also like a positive experience too. Obviously, like there were people that were sick and all that kind of stuff, and that's terrible. But like for our family to spend time together, to not just be like the grind every week and spend more time together was actually really nice. So I think there were some positives that came out of it, and one of them was me being able to play drums more, which was a positive too.
I would say I've always been careful, especially when it comes to like this question here, because obviously, like the main thing, COVID was always a terrible thing that happened.
Yeah, man. Yeah, of course.
But it's more so in terms of like branching out and doing like YouTube, for instance. It allowed you to focus more on that. Or if it allowed you to collaborate with other musicians and kind of make original material or just do any sort of covers, that kind of helped out in some sort of way too. So I guess what sort of other blessings did COVID kind of allowed you to do?
Gosh. Well, I mean, I think getting to know being stuck, we get our kids together and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. It's a challenging time, and even now people still get it. I mean, it's our daughter's school or work in general. You had it recently,
Guilty.
So yeah. I mean, it's still kind of out there. And every now and then you'll go. If I'm going to like the doctor or something, you throw that mask on when you're going into a doctor's office or whatever. So I think being in Florida. Kind of like a Texas, we didn't shut down for very long like the Northeast. I mean, I think because I got a few buddies that still live up in the DC area, and we talk quite a bit, and they were like, man, we were we were going to restaurants and doing all kinds of stuff, and they were like, dude, I've not been out to eat in like 8 months, so the state of Florida handled it very differently.
Yeah, I think for better or worse, I know. In terms of political, I think they might try to score political points on that, but
maybe a little bit.
I guess today, restaurants or any of the bars, did some of them like shut down during the pandemic?
Yeah, briefly. A lot of them were doing takeout. The ones that could do a really good takeout were still open, but briefly. And there were actually a couple of gigs that I turned down, man. Like I was like not like crazy aware, but I was also not like I was sensitive to it. Like I was concerned about it to a degree. It was, I don't want to say rural, but kind of more of I guess you could say a rural area where I knew a lot of people were not going to be vaccinated. And I'm like, I'm not playing that gig because I was like, I'm going to come home with COVID if I play that gig. There's just no question. Plus it was like an indoor smoky bar. And it was just, so, and it was, I mean, I think this was like 2021. It was still pretty heavy. It was heavily out there at that time.
I see. I was surprised you would actually want to go to a smoke bar, for instance. I walked into that the one time with me and my dad. That was terrible. Just trying to live. I don't know how people do it, but
it's bad, dude. Especially when you're drumming and you're sweating and you're just breathing all that crap in. It's not fun. But I think a lot of the bars now they don't allow it anymore. But at the time they did, and so yeah.
We almost got Josh to swear right there. So I know we have to throw a censor over top of that right there.
Hey man, trying to keep this thing PG.
I don't know. In fact, you should see one of the ones I did with a fellow from Texas, Gaz. He's Scottish, but he kind of cussed up a storm a little bit too. But
well,
funny guy though.
Yeah, that's cool.
Shout out to Gaz. Love you, brother. All right. So it's good to see you made it through, and it's good to see you made it out for the better too. So
same to you, and I'm glad you're feeling better too, man.
I'm trying to get there. I need to get my shot, I need my booster shot and actually my flu shot, which I have not gotten yet. So now I'm debating where just to wait till like September maybe this year just to finally get it. But I know it's just been lingering because up here it's been on and off at times. It felt like spring day and then it gets like typical winter day the next day. So it's been weird up here in Pittsburgh. So I think you kind of relate to because I think that's how Jacksonville sometimes is. So I can see what you mean.
Yeah.
All right. So we almost talked for a good hour here. So let's jump into some fun questions, right?
Sure.
All right. What is your favorite alcoholic drink?
Favorite alcoholic drink?
I assume
You know,
you do if you go to those conferences.
yeah,
So
yeah. So I enjoy whiskey, right? I like American whiskey, single malt sometimes. In Northeast Florida, we have a lot of breweries, so I enjoy craft beer. I enjoy an IPA. Um, if I don't really drink a ton if I'm playing a gig, but when I do, I'll grab a cold PBR can. I still enjoy a cold PBR every now and then. And I mean, like my wife and I will drink some wine or something with dinner. But I would say whiskey is probably like my number one if I had to pick a beer. And like I said, I enjoy a good IPA. How about you?
well, do you also enjoy the bourbon? Because I sometimes like the Jim Beam, the ones you get from
Yeah,
the Kentucky style. Yeah,
yeah, I like bourbon too. Sure.
I forget what the saying was. I thought it was like all bourbons. It was something comparing like the two. I think it was like all whiskeys. But in terms of like other drinks, I do love Angry Orchard. And then if I'm really feeling it at times, I kind of go a little bit heavy with going Long Island iced teas, which
Okay. Ooh, that's strong.
so it's everything but the kitchen sink, as they probably would say for those drinks.
Yes.
I mean, hey, I sometimes go with two of those, and it's always made me feel like a happy drunk afterwards. So okay, and the next one, favorite non-alcoholic drink.
Favorite non-alcoholic drink. Wow. Geez.
Go like the Mountain Dew or the Coke's products or anything like that.
I don't drink a lot of soda. I drink a lot of water. Every now and then maybe a ginger ale. Gosh, I like cranberry juice every now and then. It might be kind of weird, but I enjoy cranberry juice. Actually, sometimes I'll mix like cranberry juice and like a sparkling water, kind of like that. But I would say water, man. I drink a ton of water. I really try to stay hydrated.
Well, that's definitely true because I think the sugar from like the Coke products and that stuff tends to build more to like the fatty system too. I know I'm still trying to burn off my winter weight, as I like to call it too. So,
Yeah,
so,
I hear you, man.
so
It's
unfortunately,
tough
it's
this time of
contributed to
year.
it. But also going back to earlier with alcohol, I would say drink a German style beer and get it from the Hofbräuhaus. If you ever go to Munich or anywhere in Germany, their beer is absolutely amazing. I will say
Yeah.
that.
No, I like Belgian. I like Hefeweizen and those style beers quite a bit too. So I don't drink them that often, but yeah, I do like them.
I kind of wish I could find actually where they are in the States because those ones, they're not real thick with like the alcohol too, but it's really enhanced in the flavor too. So I'll
Yeah,
just say those. But yeah, German style beer,
I agree.
absolutely want it. Okay. Was there ever a song that was too tough for you to play and you either gave up or came back after a while to finish?
Wow. I've kind of gotten into, punk music kind of late in life. Like I listened to punk music when I was younger. Like I always listened to bands like Face to Face and Pennywise and Bad Religion. But now in this part of my life, for some reason, I look at that music as kind of like a going outside my comfort zone type of cover because it's so fast and sometimes nailing those fills at those tempos is just really, really hard. And I did a Pennywise cover. I think it was like last year or something. The song was called United, and it was really fast. And I think it took me like 2 Saturdays to nail that thing, and it still wasn't even very good. Like I almost thought for a second not to put it out because it was kind of sloppy, in my opinion. But that was really, really tough to do that. And I still listen to their music, and I keep listening to it because I keep wanting to do it because it's just so fast. And it's just high energy. It's a really high energy, just band in general. Bad Religion, not so much. They're fast too, but Brooks Wackerman's a drummer that I really admire, and he played with Bad Religion for quite a while, and I really enjoy his music, and it's super high tempo as well.
I see. I always get a kick out of the Pennywise too because you immediately think of the character from It, the antagonist.
Yeah, the weird clown. Yeah, I know. It's they're just I just really like admire drummers that can play that fast and play a couple gigs a week and go on tour and play that music every night. It's just impressive, and I'm totally just bombing on the name of that drummer for Pennywise. I can't think of his name right now, but he's just a beast behind the kit.
Nice.
As is like a Josh Freese. I'm super. I've always admired Josh Freese, like so many drummers do, and just enjoy watching him play in all the different bands that he's played with as well. But I would say probably the Pennywise cover was probably one of my tougher ones.
I see. Okay. And I guess out of all the drum covers you've done as of now, Which drum cover do you love the most?
Gosh, I don't know. Like when Taylor Hawkins passed away, that was tough for a lot of people, and so I think doing the Foo Fighters just in general is always one that I really enjoy. And I did Making a Fire. That maybe was like a month or so ago. And I was pretty proud of that one. Like it was one of the ones where I was just feeling good that day. I sat down and I think it was like 30, 45 minutes of just running through it and boom, laid it down and just felt really good about it. And my tempo is not always, I mean, it's some days I'm just on it and some days I'm a little like, rushing something or speeding up a fill too much. And so I've got to kind of go back and do it again. And that day was just, everything was just clicking. So I'm pretty proud of that one.
Ah, I see. Okay. And the last one, what is currently your favorite song or a song that you listened to a good bit recently?
Currently, gosh, well, I mean, I never get tired of listening to Led Zeppelin. I never get tired of listening to, Foo Fighters and most of the Chili Pepper, just all their different albums. I'm actually going to go see them in Minneapolis coming up in like a month or two with my wife, so we're kind of looking forward to that. My next cover is going to be a Royal Blood song, and so I've been just listening to a lot of Royal Blood lately and just kind of I find them to be pretty cool, just, two-piece band. Their sound is really big and kind of got a lot of groove to it. I was always a really big fan of Helmet growing up, which is a metal band that really isn't huge anymore, but I've always been a big John Stander Helmet fan, and Royal Blood kind of has a little bit of that vibe to it. So I would just say like their music right now is probably that's what I listened to this morning when I was outside, exercising, was just cranking out some Royal Blood. How about you, man?
Song right now? Ooh. I say it gets a little bit tough because normally when I think of that, it's like a song I have to listen to a good bit because I'm doing a drum cover for it.
Yeah.
But I recently had respect for one of the metal groups that came out of Louisiana called Down.
Okay.
And the song I actually did a collaboration with a couple of buddies of mine. We did Eyes of the South. And I realized just how fun it was too because
nice.
It starts off as kind of like a little bluesy in the beginning. And then about like a minute 30 in, that's when it jumps into like its metal sort of style right there. I think they call it sludge metal, I think.
Sludge metal? That's awesome.
Something like that. But I think it's because it's not like as fast. Like it still has like a bit of complexity to it in some sort of way. Mm-hmm. But it's not like overtly difficult like some of the faster metal groups you perhaps known. But the other one I was checking out was High on Fire. And I realized like there's a lot of good songs that I don't really know from them. And I'm actually pretty happy to keep listening through those albums.
Yeah.
But one I was doing yesterday was Snakes for the Divine. So that was...
Ah, nice. Okay.
So I don't know how familiar you are with those two groups, but those are at least ones that line up for
I've
some
heard
drum
of Down.
covers.
Yeah, I've heard of Down. I also, I like Nine Inch Nails, and I know Elon Rubin is a drummer that I really look up to for inspiration too. And I don't think he played on this album, but it's the With Teeth album from Nine Inch Nails, and I've been listening to a couple of those songs lately, and one, The Collector, is one that I'm thinking about maybe covering at some point in the near future, and so I've been kind of listening to that quite a bit too. And their music brings me a lot of energy too. It gives me a lot of just good energy to bring to the kit.
The songs I keep hearing from like Nine Inch Nails, well, one is the Johnny Cash version because he did Hurt the one time.
Oh yeah.
And then there's Terrible Lie, and I think Closer is another one they always seem to play a whole lot of.
Oh yeah.
Maybe a couple times, maybe The Hand That Feeds or something like that, but those are more like their big hits.
They're big hits, yeah. Some of their other stuff, their more B-side material is just like pretty awesome. I did that song Discipline, which it's from an album called The Slip, and I'm not sure how popular it was, but Josh Freese toured with them during when they put that stuff out. I remember just watching a lot of his stuff on YouTube with Josh Freese, and one of my favorite videos is when he does Wish. I don't know if you've seen that one, but there's a live version of him doing Wish with Nine Inch Nails that is freaking awesome. And so that's one I always, every now and then I just have to go watch that because it's just so freaking great.
I can imagine too, yeah. I know some of the guys in our drum community, they've referenced Nine Inch Nails too, and I don't give them a whole lot of credit because I don't listen to them a whole lot. I just know like obviously the big hits, so now I feel bad. Yeah. So I feel like I gotta jump on that bandwagon.
Well, I mean, the music is so, systematic and technical, which is Trent Reznor, but to see it live, to see them put that together live, it's real impressive. It's pretty cool. And it's got a ton of energy behind it.
I can imagine too. Well, you're there to put on a show for the audience, so I imagine you have to do some sort of thing to get the crowd pumping and all that stuff too. So
yep.
That's pretty cool. And I think looking through it, I think we got through all the questions right now. I guess did you have any questions for me or anything else you want to throw in before we jump to the last one?
Geez, man. I mean, I would say if if there are drummers out there that are that want to do this, or whether it's a drum channel or join a band, just don't give up. Just keep practicing, practice as much as possible, and just be yourself. Your authenticity is, if that's one of your core values, that's a really good thing to embrace and bring to the drums. And that would be something that'd probably be the last thing I want to say just to people out there. But you said we answered all the questions, or there's one more?
There was one more.
Okay.
Well, this one is always about the message of hope, so I'm not sure if you just covered it right there. But if you do want to reiterate again, that's fine. But given what COVID has done, and a lot of people haven't been really as blessed as like we have, in order to like still have a job, mainly start a YouTube channel and meet all these people in and around the world too who also play drums. I think people need some sort of hope these days. So the last question is, what sort of message of hope could you give to musicians and people out there as we try to get out of COVID in some way?
Sure. I would say, don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to take risks, to go outside your comfort zone. I think, drumming is, a lot of it is, can be, there's fear behind it, whether it's performing or just putting yourself out there in general. I would say, be yourself. I would say from a hope standpoint, live in the present. Try not to focus on, COVID obviously was just a terrible time in our history, and a lot of people got sick and people lost their loved ones, and that was just awful. And there's still some elements of it, but we also got to look at the future too. If you've got family and kids, you got to be present for them. You got to move on, and you got to, I would say lead with kindness too. Understand that people have different opinions out there, whether it's politics or whatever the case might be. Respect people's opinions, whatever they are, and be kind. Open the door for people when you're going in and out of a building, or just don't take yourself so seriously. I think that would be a message for hope too. Not everything is life or death. It's okay to just kind of let things work themselves out sometimes.
So don't make it so dramatic at times when just something as simple as just wearing a mask too. You just have to wear it maybe for the first couple of minutes when you're just in there. So it would be nice, but I kind of wish people would just leave those sort of things at the door. Just have some sort of compassion in a way too.
Not everyone's going to be like you, and that's okay. That's what makes the world great. That's why there's so many different genres of music and different kinds of drummers, and people that push boundaries. It's okay to have a career, but also if you love drumming, it's okay to do that too. You can do both. It's okay to just be yourself. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there.
I see. Spoken like a true prodigy. All right. So, Josh, we reached the end of my podcast right here. We talked a little over an hour right now, I guess. Do you have any final words or any shout-outs you want to give before we close?
Geez. No, I don't think so, man. I think we kind of covered everything. I enjoy what you do for the community, I would say. And, it's awesome that you do this podcast. And, I hope that, from this, I get to connect with more drummers and get inspired by more guys out there doing it, and we just keep on doing it, man. Just keep on bringing the energy, bringing yourself, and getting better. I will say that's one thing I love about drumming is you never stop learning. You never stop evolving. You never stop growing. And that to me is pretty awesome, because I don't know where I'm going to grow in drumming in the future, but I'm excited about it. I'm going to learn and grow more, and it's a little unknown, and that's pretty cool.
It's a little bit of that sports mentality that you're never satisfied with where you're at too. So, and
you always got to be open to learning. Like sometimes people, every now and then I'll get a negative comment. I remember one time I did a Deftones cover, and it was the song "Bored," and this guy was like, "I always get bored when I listen to the Deftones," and he was just kind of like a jerk and kept sending me all these negative messages and stuff like that. It's like, dude, come on, just
we're so bored,
whatever.
You're to blame, that sort of thing.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm open to new genres of music and new styles and just doing different things, and that's what I love about it. It's just you never stop be open to watch yourself. I know golfers, they watch their swing, and they're always trying to enhance their swing. And I think doing this, you get to actually like watch yourself on YouTube. It's out there forever. And I think I enjoy knowing that down the road when I'm gone, my daughter will be able to pull this up and go, "There's Dad." Like that's pretty cool. And I think being open to growth within drumming is important. It's a good thing.
Absolutely too. It serves as a nice diary too. And I know that's what some of the drummers in our community do as well. So
yeah.
All right. So everyone today, my guest was Josh Cohen, hailing from Jacksonville, Florida. He's a great drummer, also great in real estate too. So if you need him for anything, you know where to hit him up. But I guess how else can people reach out to you?
So just Jtree drum covers on YouTube. Like, subscribe, send me a message, and then my Gmail's on there too. So just shoot me an email if you want to connect.
All right, sounds good. So Josh, I want to thank you again so much again for coming on. Stay
Thanks,
safe.
Brian.
Stay tuned,
You too,
y'all.
bro.